The tallest building in the world has over 900 apartments sitting completely empty right now. Not abandoned. Not under construction. Just empty. And the people who own them know exactly why. Here's the thing nobody told you when they were showing you those glossy images of Dubai's skyline. The Burj Khalifa was never really built for people to live in. It was built as a statement. And statements, it turns out, are very expensive to maintain. When it opened in January 2010, the world lost its mind. 828 meters of pure steel and glass shooting straight into the desert sky. The tallest thing humans had ever built. Every news channel on the planet covered it. Every travel magazine put it on the cover. And people from London to Lagos watched it and thought, that is what progress looks like. But here's what was happening behind the scenes at that exact same moment. Dubai had just come off the worst financial crash in its modern history. Construction projects across the city had frozen mid-build. Investors had fled. And the Burj Khalifa, this symbol of unstoppable ambition, was opening its doors in the middle of complete economic chaos. The building has 900 residential units. On the day it opened, the majority of them had already been sold. Developers had pre-sold floors to wealthy investors from Russia, India, the UK, China, and the Gulf states. On paper, it looked like a sellout success. But there was a catch that nobody talked about loudly. Buying an apartment in the Burj Khalifa was never really about living there. It was about owning a piece of the world's most famous building. For most buyers, it was a trophy. A conversation piece. A line on a portfolio. So they bought, they posed for photos, and then they left. And this is where it gets interesting. Because when you build a vertical city that nobody actually lives in, you create a very specific kind of ghost town. The lights go on at night because the management runs them. The lobbies look spotless because there are staff members whose entire job is to maintain the illusion of a functioning community. But walk the residential floors on a Tuesday afternoon and the silence hits different. Service charges. This is the part that quietly kills the dream for a lot of owners. To live in or rent out a unit in the Burj Khalifa, you pay some of the highest maintenance fees in the world. We are talking tens of thousands of dollars per year, per unit, just to keep your name on the door. When the rental yield does not cover those fees, investors stop trying. They hold the asset, pay the charges, and quietly wait. Now think about what this actually means. You have the most iconic building on Earth. You can see it from 40 kilometers away on a clear day. Hundreds of millions of people have photographed it. And yet if you were to walk into the residential section on any given weekday, you would feel something closer to a luxury hotel with no guests than a place where people actually build lives. And here's the question that changes the way you see the whole story. Was this ever a failure? Because by every metric that actually mattered to the people who built it, the Burj Khalifa is a roaring success. Dubai got exactly what it wanted. Global attention. Tourism. A brand so powerful that just saying the name makes people picture an entire city. The building generates millions in observation deck tickets alone every single year. The address downtown hotel inside it runs at high occupancy. Hundreds of thousands of people visit the area around it monthly. The emptiness was never the bug. It was arguably the feature. But here is where it gets personal. Because there is something in this story that is about more than one building in the desert. Think about how many people you know, maybe yourself included, who have built a version of this. The impressive thing on the outside. The life that looks extraordinary from 40 kilometers away. The achievement that photographs beautifully. And somewhere in the residential floors of it, a quiet emptiness that only you notice. The Burj Khalifa taught the world something about modern ambition. That scale impresses. That height gets attention. But what makes something actually worth living in, worth staying in, worth building a real life around, is something entirely different from what makes it worth photographing. There is a small irony hiding at the very top of all this. The most coveted address in the world, the place people dreamed about owning, the building that put a city on the global map permanently, sits mostly unoccupied. Not because people cannot afford it, but because living there, truly living there, turned out to be less interesting than simply pointing at it from the ground and saying, I own a piece of that. And maybe that is the most honest thing the world's tallest tower has ever told us.